Welcome, my friends, to day 2 of the 2x speed tournament. Today we have on the menu starting a Raynor versus a Spirit over here as series number 1. And the second series is going to be none other than Clem versus Eleazar. And there's going to be a little bit of a twist in that particular series. But for now, let's have a look at this. Raynor opening up with a quick pool first. I'm curious to see how this is going to pan out. Now, when I was talking with the players about this, just in general before the tournament, I think most of them agreed that Zerg probably is the best and that Terran most likely is the weakest. But I have to say that I personally believe that if you were to play mech as a Terran player, that is probably quite a bit better, right? I think Bio is very difficult due to, banelings. Look at this animation. What is this? Holy crap, the building looks so stupid. It's gonna be 3 Rex Reaper as Raynor opens up with a Roach Rush. Spirit without really any scouting at all. Did spot the links, but might have not spotted. That was only there for like half a second or so. More and more Reapers are in production right now. This Reaper pops in over here. Bam, 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 bam. What do we see? What do we see? Well, we see a couple of these drones taking quite a bit of damage. I think that's 2 drones that just went down. That is an insane amount, to be quite honest. That really is an insane amount. Roaches are being sent out. There's a couple of drones get built behind this. Triple Rex Reaper. Now, I feel like the Reaper is the unit that is probably by far the worst to build. Like, by far. It requires intense micro. The stutter stepping is insanely important. The timing of the grenades is insanely important. Like, in my mind, this is legitimately the worst unit to build. He played a 1-base Reaper build, CC on the high ground here. Now we still have some links hiding in the far back. 2 more Overlords are about to finish up on the side of Raynor. Raynor is only on 21 workers though. It's not actually in that great of a position. Has 5 roaches, 3 on the high ground, 2 on the low ground. Combination with a queen. Man, the freaking Reaper flare behind them looks insane. Like that flame drag. It's like... looks like they're constantly on fire. Links do make their way in towards the main base. Don't actually end up killing very much over here. Maybe 1 or 2 workers. As Raynor with 2 base Roach here going into lair tech right now. I'm not quite sure why both players are playing so insanely weird. This is not even a good map for 3 Rex Reaper either. I gotta have to ask these guys what's going through their minds, because I have no clue. Soon I have Home Story Cup, I can sit down with all of them and have a deep one-on-one conversation with every single person that played in my tournament and ask them what in the world was going through your head, because it makes no sense to me at all. Now, Reapers are still just scouting around, looking for something. I think this is a 3rd CC that is now going up. Now, if I'm Spirit, I'm very afraid of some type of Roach all-in, because, let's face it, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a 35 drone Roach all-in, while Spirit is on 31 workers, does have a factory on the way, but is building a reactor on it because he wants to get Medivacs ASAP. Ooh, ends up losing a couple of Reapers here. Well, couple. Half of his Reaper count for free. Just lost 8 Reapers, or has lost 8 Reapers in total. Only has 6 remaining. Doesn't have that many Marines either. There's no tanks. Bunkers now going down. I'm not sure why so late. You saw you were playing against a 2-base Zerg for a very, very long time. You knew Roaches were out. Grenades actually surprisingly kind of hitting over here. Here comes the Clever Constitution as the Roaches, they sprint in here. Right-click that bunker. Repair's not quick enough. Second bunker. There's no repair whatsoever as Raynor, I think, has just won game number 1 with 15 Roaches remaining. 3 Marines on the side of Spirit and 2 Reapers. Absolutely nothing else. And yeah, this is just going to be a GG gets called. And Raynor wins game number 1 in 3 minutes and 54 seconds. I actually can't believe this. Like, 3 Rex Reaper is already a very difficult build on 1-time speed. Like, the micro is legitimately hard. And I think the slower the game speed, the easier that's going to be, right? Because it's a lot about targeting, it's a lot about moving out of little surrounds, hitting the grenades on point as well. I don't quite understand why you'd go... First of all, 3 Rex Reaper on Babylon is freaking garbage because there's a ramp leading in towards the natural. And the defensive rotation is very easy. Okay, this time he's playing a double gas opener. As Raynor opted for just a standard hatch first. Well, standard. Not entirely standard. Seems like it was fairly early, all of... Well, no, that's just... I guess that's normal. I was looking at the timer and I was like, well, this is a really fast hatchery. This hatchery is way too fast. I've never seen. Look how quick that pool is as well. Before the 1-minute mark, it finishes. That is just crazy. Now we can see the actual in-game timer, 1:54. So this hatchery was actually at a fairly standard-ish timing. Roach Warren does go down the moment the hatch ends up finishing. So it's going to be a 2-base roach rush. Once again, Spirit without a scout. Oh no. 6 links, 8 links make their way across the map. Now this Marine is in some serious trouble here. He's dead. This CC is in serious trouble. Needs to be cancelled. Also dead. Does get the 300 minerals back. 4 roaches are now on the way. There's going to be 2 Hellions ready for that. Starport hasn't started yet, despite the money definitely being available here. We should get a tech lab here. I guess this is going to be like a 1-base Hellion Banshee. We'll walk with these Hellions face first into the roaches. Needs a bunker. Doesn't get the bunker yet. I think that's game. The Hellion is still going ham, but there's nothing defensively. He's not building anything. GG. Kill me. Why? Alrighty, game number 3 here. Oh my god. Okay, game number 3 is going to be played on Ancient Sister, and Raynor's going for a 12 pool. I'm not sure why I keep inviting these guys to stuff. They play in my tournaments, they take my hard-earned cash, and then they provide me a best of 5 series that so far has lasted like, what, 3.5 minutes? And we're into game 3, and now Raynor goes for a 12. This guy has no respect to the audience, okay? This is a middle finger to you guys, is all I'm saying. Like, if there's ever a decision in the future where you need to pick between Raynor and me, I think from now on, it's really clear who should be picked here. You know, if there's a voting for StarCraft Personality of the Year, you know, if we're on a massive boat together, there's only one spot left in one of the lifeboats, and it's me or Raynor, then perhaps, you know, that is the end of... Oh my Jesus. Actually, this isn't so bad. But wait, hello? You're still 3 links alive, mate? This wasn't brilliant. CC on the low ground's also fairly damaged. It's just so difficult to micro against this stuff. That's why you need to scout. Spirit hasn't scouted a single time so far in this entire series. Gonna lose the Reaper to slow links. And I don't think this was supposed to kill. This was the macro version. Like, there's no speed behind this. But I actually think that the game is just over. This is the worst series I've ever seen in my entire freaking life. Luckily, it didn't last so long. That's the beauty of this as well. You get a garbage series. Boom, it's over in 5 minutes. Didn't even get to run an ad yet. Good lord. Yeah, well, that's the third quarterfinal of this tournament, as we'll be heading into the final quarterfinals of the day. The final quarterfinal is here between Clem and Eleazar, and I was promised a cool and fun surprise by Clem. Clem, when I invited him, he said, hey, I want to play, but I want to play Protoss because Terran is balls on this. And I was like, yeah, that sounds freaking fantastic. I mean, why not? Go for it. But then Clem, I actually don't know why these people are my friends. I feel like I'm getting backstabbed in multiple ways over here. As Clem's also decided to open up with a Reaper start here. Oh, 3-Rex Reaper as well. You can't actually be serious. This is not the build, dude. Oh my god, we're gonna have an all-Zerg semifinals. If Max Packs was Zerg, that is. So we're gonna have 3 Zergs in the semifinals. Oh my good lord. Why do Terrans just not use their brain when they pick strategies? Like, that's one of the more important things, is the usage of the brain, in my opinion. Actually, Clem's doing a pretty sick job. It is. What? He hasn't really killed anything yet. But it's not like he almost walked into his own grenade there. Through the fire and the flames. Ooh, it's gonna hit a couple more grenades. This is actually a really sick micro. Eleazar is struggling here. Transfuse is available. I am so surprised by this. Blink speed fairly delayed. What is this? There's no way this is supposed to work. 23 workers to 21. Clem gets his CC down. He's macroing like a beast as well. What? Roxy Hatch here, out of Eleazar. Versus the 3-Rex Reaper. This is an unheard of strategy. Maybe he's gonna build roaches with it. I've seen this in the past. I've heard stories of it. Like you throw down a roach jar and then boom, you get like 7 roaches from here. That's the actual play. It is the actual play. No cap, as the kids these days would say. Now there's a bunch of Reapers out. They actually dealt a lot of damage. They killed nothing? Surely I thought that something must have died. Wait, I'm just gonna click the kills. Maybe the counter is incorrect. No, none of them have any kills. Okay, so 3x Reaper is still complete garbage. I was right. How did I figure this out so fast? I must be some type of genius. What is this base doing? I literally don't even understand it. Oh, loses 1 queen. He's gonna lose a 2nd queen here. Hellions are in as well. Grenades. No, this ramp. What is this? Did the Reapers just win the game? This is looking real freaking bad right now for Eleazar, who has no units at all. Has 1 queen that's just chilling here on the high ground. More Hellions are coming in as well. Reapers are in an insane position. You know what's crazy though? Is that slow Banelings might actually be really sick against this. He does have a Baneling nest, so could potentially go for that. Now this layer is in some serious trouble right now. Here come the Lings. Grenades not really being thrown down. These are just regular good old Reapers. And they will die. It's going to be mech behind this. Now, this is what I'm talking about, Clem. This is some real thinking. I love this. Mech obviously is the unit type of choice here. Why in the world would you play bio if there's no way in hell that you're going to be capable of splitting? Now, we have mech field accelerator, so it's going to be battle mech as well. Of course, Clem doesn't play anything passive, no matter what he does. This guy could be messing tanks in the early game and he just move out or put like 7 in medevacs, just start dropping them around. Like he has that gene in him, you know, like, I'm gonna punch you in the face, but with units instead, rather than in real life. It's preferable for me, at least. Rather get punched in a game than in real life, but some people are different. Some good control as well on those cars. Lots of Lings are going down as this continues chasing, and yeah, Eleazar runs out of forces here. Clem with the Infernal Pre-Igniters about to finish up as well. Blue Flame is going to be huge against a Ling-Bane composition. It's still just 44 drones here for Eleazar. While Clem already is getting his 4th base here. 56 workers to 44. Yes, this is very, very tough. Eleazar also struggling spending his money, despite being only on 44 workers. Of course, injects are just so freaking difficult for Zerg over here. So freaking difficult. Now, 7 Overlords are being sent out on to whatever this is. This high ground, 12 drones are on the way as well. Eleazar is going back into a macro game. It's down 20, well, actually more than 20 supply. It's like 35 supply, something along those lines. So we now have Factory 4 that's done. There's 3 barracks, of course, still from the early game. It is kind of rare to see 3-Rex Reaper into mech, because you have all these production structures that are just not being used. Eleazar managing to stay alive as the proxy base. I mean, Clem is gonna... I think this is actually how... You know how Zergs have been wondering how to win late game for years now against Ghost? The way is to just take one of your opponent's bases as your 3rd, and then you just go for it. You just mine out your opponent's base from like the 4-minute mark on out. It's absolutely brilliant. This is a great surround as well. Clem, not ready for it, is going to get cleaned up. But the problem here is that Clem just has so many freaking units. Mines are obviously brilliant. It's really difficult to micro against as well if you have this high speed on the Lings, on the Banes. And the trigger of the mine, of course, is still very, very quick. Halberd's helping out here as well, as it's 142 supply against 70. Eleazar taps out with the GG, and Clem wins game number 1. All right, anything negative I said about Clem in the past, I'd like to retract right now, because my man is sticking to his word. All right, playing Protoss in game number 2. Wanted to make sure that he could do it with Terran as well. He's too late with the block, though. Nice one, buddy. You can't do it like that on Ancient Cistern. That's a good attempt, though. Oh, wait, actually, never mind. This was a 14 hatch. So he probably did do it correct. I didn't quite catch the early game. By the time you're loaded into the game, the first 8 seconds are already over. So, hey, it moves freaking fast. Oh, probe almost ends up dying. That's actually really sick. The probe stuff, the probe harassment, can be so effective. Like, you just right-click a worker, and if the Zerg is not paying attention for half a second, you die. But on the other hand, if the Zerg pulls workers and you don't pay attention for half a second, you also die. So it's a very thin line here you're walking. Corby for Nexus for Clem. Kind of interested what that's going to end up being, because that is very different from what we usually see. Second pylon is correct. Some oversaturation here on those minerals. Some undersaturation here in the gas. That's going to be fixed. Meanwhile, Eleazar opening up with, yes, just like Lambo did earlier in the in the first quarterfinals, opening up without, what do you call this? Without gas. No speed is necessary to deal with these adepts. But what you do need is some type of links, though. Like, surely you can't just go completely gasless and linkless. Like, I thought the entire point kind of was that, you know, you do get some links, but without the speed, they're still fine because adepts are harder to micro. Okay, adepts freaking suck in this. Holy crap. Holy crap, adepts are garbage. Don't really get any kills. Eleazar isn't really injecting, though, for a while now as he continues to chase. How many kills? He got 0 kills. I mean, did a lot of indirect damage here. That's for sure. There's no third base on the way yet. More queens coming out. What is Eleazar doing? Still no gas. 2 more queens. It's gonna go up to 5. We have a spore. The first oracle's popping out. There's no queens in position here. Oh, no, there's 1, I guess. That's going to be enough. Clem forgot to control his oracle. Could have definitely gotten some kills. Like, I know it's really easy for me to say, but it does look really bad a lot of the time. Eleazar floating about 800 minerals, is massively supply blocked as well, or was massively supply blocked. Now, it does have 14 larvae available, but for some reason isn't really using them. Now starts building 26 links, has no Evo chamber, only a single queen here at the third base. 2 queens at the natural, which had a spore. So some poor queen split there. Coming out of Eleazar. This is never not gonna be funny. This is always going to be funny. There you go. But this looks so stupid. It looks so dumb. Imagine being like working on the animations in StarCraft 2 for like 4 years of your life. You know, you're proud of this. And then you try to show someone this and you Google StarCraft 2 Zerg versus Protoss, because especially the Zergling animation is what you're proud of. And this is what you get. Like, that is suicide inducing. Like, that's not a good thing. This looks so ugly. How is that possible? I guess that's what 2 times speed. Like, oracles, they fly nicely still. Oh my god. A couple of links are gonna get... Well, lots of links are gonna get taken out. They look fast, but of course, the oracles are also fast, so they're just gonna chase. There was a bunch of links that just went down. Like, legit, like 25 links or so just fell at an instant. Now, this is mass oracle out of Clem. As he just targets down unit after unit. Eleazar is just floating a crap ton of money. And isn't really doing anything with it. He doesn't have +1 yet either. He's now getting a Roach Warren. Is low on gas. You know what I think is smart for Zerg? Is to get things that don't require a lot of larvae, because injecting on time is going to be really difficult. So you want units like Roaches and Hydras and Lurkers rather than playing Ling Bane, because you just can't spend your money. And that is definitely what Eleazar is struggling with over here. He has 1800 minerals in the bank, 400 gas. Now, mind you, Clem also has a decent chunk of cash, but that's probably because he's only working with 4 gateways for some reason. Continuing his Oracle production is up to 7. This is still only pure Ling, by the way. Hydras are now finally popping out. Ling run by in towards the natural. This is with speed. They look just as dumb with... Actually, they look less dumb with speed for some reason. They go freaking fast, though. Holy cow. We'll take out a couple of workers here. So not the end of the world for Clem. As Eleazar still struggling massively to spend his money. He does have 20 larvae available. Maybe his hotkeys aren't working. No, okay, there we go. Does get a bunch of links. Another link run by gets in. This is going to cost Clem quite some workers, I think. No, Oracle's in position. Zealots get warped in as well. Do these Zealots have charge? I can't even see it because everything always moves so fast. But yeah, these Zealots indeed do have charge. 5th base is on the way here for Clem, who continues adding more and more Zealots as a pure Archon Zealot Adept army. As I'd love to see... The one thing that Eleazar usually is great at is Baneling run-bys. Now, I just love to see some Baneling run-bys here because they're going to be impossible to respond to. If you have +2 Banelings, that is pretty much the end of the game. Now, don't forget the actual... Like, this is the timer that they're looking at. It is 10 minutes and 25 seconds into the game for them. So this is a proper macro game right now. Oracle's moving forward. Banelings coming in as well, but that's not enough Banes. There's no Baneling speed either, and Oracles have gone down, but there's not that much left here for Eleazar, honestly. No Banelings to deal with the Zealots at all. That is an issue. Hydras can deal with the Archons as long as Zealots aren't slashing them at the same time, and I think Eleazar might have just actually lost the game against Clem's Protoss. Who played Mass Oracle. Yep, there we go. GG, as Clem takes the 2-0 here in this best of 5. For the 3rd game, Clem decided to switch back into Terran and opens up with a more standard setup over here. It's going to be a single gas, single barracks type of setup. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to a very standard, very Clem-like macro game. This is what I want in my life, okay? I just want to see if he plays bio. If he plays bio, that would be so sick. I would respect the ever-living crap out of Clem. You know, I find it difficult to say that I respect Terran players often, you know, because I don't, and I don't like lying. But if he plays bio and does well or wins, like that would be legitimately insane in my opinion. It doesn't seem to quite be the case. Taking a very fast second gas as well. Rushing out Hellions. That's not necessarily bio or mech indicative, but it does worry me a bit because his favorite bio opener is just some standard triple CC stuff. Gonna have to wait and see though. Orbital starts. We'll see the tech lab on this. I assume we're going to see Banshee. Eleazar playing a lot more standard this time around. Does get a massive supply block. Holy crap. Forgets his build order there for a second. Yeah, that's a big supply block. So I'm gonna need a new Overlord immediately here as well. Uh-oh, here come the 2 cars. Nice. Very nice. Link's gonna go in with a scout. Ooh, mine drop. I like this so much because that is something that... Well, you get all 4 mines, that is, Clem. That is something that really requires a quick response here. So let's have a look at Eleazar's vision from this. How much time does he really have? I think he has like probably 1 or 2 seconds to truly respond. So here, he sees the Hellions on the minimap. He sees the Hellions on the minimap. Sees nothing on the minimap. Okay, now he sees something on the bottom. He wasn't paying attention, was he? Yeah, he just lost a bunch of workers. Okay, he actually had decent time. Oh my god. He lost all of his workers. That's not just... He lost 16 workers to a triple mine drop. And the mine stayed alive. And it's mech, of course. It's 2-base mech. What? This is not a real build order. Clem is just memeing at this point. Mine drop at 2 times speed, though. That is quite something. Here we go, another time. This time Eleazar is in time. Fast response. This doesn't mess around. This does not mess around. My camera, like, there's a hotkey to follow units. It isn't fast enough. Like, the speed of the camera, like, these units are there. They're going out of my vision. Look at this. They're just flying off, basically. That's pretty crazy, actually. That's pretty crazy. So you have a Control plus F follows a unit. I need to zoom out to properly do that in this mod. Hellions, meanwhile, running by in towards this 3rd base. Do not quite get the damage. Roach Warren is on the way over here. Lair, well, is researching as a... These Hellbat drops didn't really do anything. Eleazar in an okay spot now. Well, yeah, I mean, fine-ish, I think. It's okay. This is... Yeah, I can live with it. As long as he doesn't lose every single worker here. It's not great, but it's better than it was earlier when he just lost 16 workers. That was a really dark moment for him. Clem has now double expanded during all of this. Eleazar is struggling to spend his money once more. As these links do connect with the Cyclones. Will get cleaned up. Roaches in the main base clean something up. I don't quite see what's happening here. This 4th base almost died as well. So once again, it's going to be just straight up mech. And Eleazar with a lot of... Like, Cyclone mech is really good, but you need quick responses, right? I think this might almost be easier here for the Zerg than it is for the Terran. Alright, it's going to be an Overlord down. This 4th base perhaps in some trouble. Like, if you get a flank off or something as well, that's so much easier to do, and it's freaking huge against mech. Here come the Hellions. There's nothing in position to deal with it. Eleazar. Oh, turns them into Hellbats. Almost feel like that was worse than just continuing to roast ass Hellions. Definitely would have gotten more kills because he just got 0 with this. 4th base is being rebuilt here for Mikołaj Ogonowski, which is the real name of Liquid's Eleazar. See a road run by being set up. See what Clem's gonna do about that. Double lips now being added in as well. I kind of like that. That's also one of these units you really need to respond to. Let's take a first-person look here on Eleazar's side of things. Liberator sieging up in the main base. Let's see that worker count drop. That's a 1, that's a 2, and that's a queen. All right. Meanwhile, he's also moving in, Clem that is, with a bunch of Hellbats, bunch of Cyclones. Ford gets killed another time. Double expansion here coming out of Eleazar, who does have decent supply and is taking one hell of a fight. This is what I was talking about. Clem here, really, really struggling. He's also lacking an upgrade, I think. Yeah, he doesn't have the super mech field accelerator. That's what it's called for the Cyclones, which is actually kind of useful. We have lots of bases going down right now for Eleazar. Luckily, none of these bases is going down on the 4th or the 5th base of Clem, like we saw in game number 1. Evo Chain... Oh, he's 0-0. Both players are 0-0. Now, this looks stupid, but Eleazar actually has a really large army. Like, I think this... I don't want to say this is possible, but it looks like it would be possible. Okay, that fight was not great, but at the same time, this fight is pretty great. If there was just a single bile to hit all of these SCVs, that would be freaking huge. At the same time, though, Eleazar coming back in, taking out a lot of workers, 56 workers to 58. Bile's going to connect. Clem was not paying attention for a millisecond. Boom, loses half of his army to that crap. That is fantastic. +1 still not on the way. We have bailing speed coming in right now. Queens need to move out of the range. Queens, oh my god. These Liberators going absolutely ham. This army is going insane as well. Eleazar going in for a flank/counter attack. I'm not quite sure what he wants to go for quite yet. Clem's getting absolutely caught over here. Loses all of his Cyclones. And I think for the first time in this series, it is Eleazar who's truly in the driving seat. He's gonna start moving forward right now. Should be capable of taking out at least some drones as these roaches are trying to chase. Macfield finishes in the middle of this fight. Still no upgrades. There's no Ling reinforcements either. Roach is now trying to harass a little bit in the natural. Eleazar honestly did a good job, but did not kill any workers. So, did he really do a good job then? No, he actually didn't. He's rebuilding 8 workers right now, as he's been doing a brilliant job at spending his money. I almost feel like he just needed some warm-up, but now that he's getting warmed up, and he understands the speed at which this game plays, he's doing fantastic, and Clem is struggling to stay alive over here. 128 supply to 160. We have a 5th on the way. We have... Oh, Hellion Rumbys are difficult to deal with, though. Those are hard. Those are hard. Vehicle plating level 1 is done, which means that roaches still require the same amount of shots against Hellions and Cyclones. I'm not quite sure why people research it, but Terrans do love doing it. Drilling Claws here is, well, a little bit over halfway done at this point. Mines are going to be, of course, very, very big because they're so difficult to micro against at this particular speed. Still only have +1 range here for Eleazar, who now moves forward, takes out a sensor tower. This CC will not be capable of burrowing in here. A couple of roaches will end up falling. Roaches on the bottom side need to take care. Hello? Of that lip. No, that's not gonna happen, I guess. Liberator, 1-2. Gonna need one more bile over here, that's for sure. Same time, Clem moving forward with a massive amount of Cyclones. Just a couple of Hellbats. That means that these Links might actually be somewhat useful. If they can come in for a flank here, that would be absolutely massive. Can't quite come in for a flank, but I do think that Eleazar is getting some pretty decent trades. Has 86 workers as well. I would love to see more upgrades here. I'd love to see some tech as well. I think Infestors are obviously brilliant. It's so hard to dodge Fungals in the first place. Let alone if you're, you're playing against someone on 2x speed. Like, these Fungals are going to come in hard. Real freaking hard. Second Evo on the way. We have +1 melee as well right now moving in, as I think this army is going to be toast. Eleazar responds with a base trade as double lips are sieging up on the very far left side. Oh, this planetary goes down. Banelings are actually trading against tanks, which wasn't quite brilliant, but there's no tanks remaining right now. Clem needs to go home, and he needs to go home real quick. Eleazar decides to go in towards the natural. That's where a lot of SCVs were, with the focus on the word were, because right now there's none left. CC is going to stay alive. Eleazar bleeds out a lot of roaches. Ten drones are on the way, as he's trying to re-establish a bit of an eco here. And I understand that. There's only 3 orbitals. This one could turn into an orbital, but I think it will be a planetary. Yeah, makes the most sense, of course. Kind of unlucky that these Liberators scout this army. But Clem is not responding. That means that a lot of SCVs are going to end up going down here, I think. And perhaps this base is even in a bit of trouble. 44 workers against 75. This is, however, also Eleazar's, I don't want to say his last army, but he doesn't have that many armies remaining. He's kind of throwing away a lot of his supply at this point. I'm not so sure why that is. I mean, he's in a good spot economically. He's outmining his opponent ×2. Double lips are going to siege up on the bottom far right side base. I mean, Eleazar was mining a sick amount. If he had just set up, waited till max, I think he would have been great. Still no extra upgrades, no range upgrades, no melee extra upgrades. As Clem right now is heading into +3 vehicle plating and +2 vehicle attack as well. Once those two finish up, that's going to be a very big deal. Liberators being super annoying. I think that a spore per base and maybe even a couple of spines wouldn't really hurt Eleazar or Clem. Or well, it wouldn't hurt Eleazar, it would hurt Clem for sure. As dealing with these libs with Biles has seemed somewhat inefficient, as this Liberator is going to get an absolute crap ton of kills. I love the way that Clem is playing this. I think it's been absolutely brilliant. Like, he's really abusing how difficult it is to defend things. And Terran is great at throwing stuff away. But it's the same with Zerg. Why are we not seeing any Baneling drops? Why are we not seeing any Infestors being used here? I think the players are playing almost too standard, or they're playing weird things that don't really work. It seems like there wasn't that much of a thought in there. And I do believe that Eleazar right now is in a world of trouble. I really do think so. Poof, 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 poof. Yeah, this lip is gonna die against a Spore, which is nice. Double sensor towers right next to each other as Clem goes in for a push. And I'm not so sure how much Eleazar really has that can deal with this. There's no Hive, there's no Vipers because of that. The upgrades on this army freaking suck, as 2-3 has now finished for Clem, and Clem is just walking in here and saying, adios, my dear friend, it's time for me to secure my 3-0. GG gets called. Clem wins the series 3-0. This was a really nice game, though. I really did enjoy this the most. And something that I read in the comments on the first video was that now finally Grandmaster players can feel what it's like to be worse. Because usually you don't see like the level of mechanical mistakes or just stupid errors that we're seeing in the 2x speed mode. And I think it's super fun. And in my opinion, it's super fun to watch. It's very enjoyable to see people float like 1200 minerals, get supply block. Like Eleazar forgot his upgrades for so long. Like, don't forget that this is the actual timer, the legit in-game timer of like how much 1x speed time has passed, basically. Is 21 minutes. Imagine a professional Zerg player being 1-1 in that case and still on layer attack. Like, that's pretty crazy. It also was floating an insane amount of gas, 2500 gas here. So yeah, there's a lot of mistakes that would be easily fixable if you have the time. Like, just pull out of gas, right? Start mining some more minerals. God knows you need it. But yeah, it's fantastic. Pretty terrible series though for the quarterfinals, I'm gonna be honest. Altogether 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 4x 3-0. Let's hope that the semis and the finals are going to bring us closer matches. They definitely should. So we have some absolute banger semifinals. That's going to happen in, I think, 2 days from now. Upstairs, we have Lambo versus MaxPax. And downstairs, we have Clem versus Raynor. I hope Clem is going to be playing at least a little bit of Protoss. That would absolutely make my day, my week, my month, and my year. But I'm not sure. So I'm very curious to see what's going to happen there. I hope you all did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to like button, subscribe to the channel. And I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Ciao, ciao.